Everywhere you look, people talk about success as if it's some external treasure waiting to be found. They chase it in the form of status, wealth, recognition, and power, believing that if they run fast enough, if they work hard enough, eventually they'll catch it. But success isn't something you catch, it's something you attract by the person you become. That's the secret most people never fully understand. Success is magnetic. It's pulled into the orbit of people who have built themselves into the kind of individuals success cannot ignore. If you're tired of running in circles, tired of wondering why you're doing everything right but still not getting what you want, maybe it's time to stop chasing and start becoming. Becoming the person who attracts success begins with self-awareness. You must take a deep and honest look at yourself, your habits, your thoughts, your mindset, your behaviors, and ask, am I someone that success would want to be around? Success doesn't show up for the mediocre, the lazy, the inconsistent, or the unprepared. It doesn't knock on the door of those who complain, procrastinate, or settle for less. Success finds its home with those who are constantly elevating, constantly improving, constantly pushing themselves beyond comfort zones. It's not about being perfect, it's about being committed, to growth, to excellence, to discipline. There is a silent war taking place inside all of us, the war between who we are and who we are meant to become. The person you are today is a product of your past choices, routines, and beliefs, but the person who will attract success, that person is forged by courage, the courage to let go of limiting beliefs, toxic habits, and shallow distractions. You don't become that person overnight. It takes time, sacrifice, and daily effort. But every step you take in the right direction sends a signal to the universe that you're serious, that you're no longer just wishing, you're preparing. You're not hoping, you're becoming. Most people want success without becoming worthy of it. They want results without rituals. They want freedom without responsibility. But life doesn't work that way. You don't get to the top of the mountain by accident. You get there because you trained when no one was watching, studied when others were sleeping, showed up when everyone else had excuses. Success is not a reward for potential. It's a reward for preparation, for perseverance, for character. If you want to attract success, you have to upgrade the way you think, the way you speak, the way you show up in every moment. You have to become the kind of person who lives with intention. Stop drifting. Stop being pulled by emotions and distractions. Set standards for your life and refuse to lower them for anyone or anything. Successful people don't just react to life. They shape it. They take control of their time, their energy, their focus. They don't blame others when things go wrong. They take responsibility and figure it out. They don't complain about problems. They become the solution. This level of ownership, this mindset of radical accountability, is magnetic. It's what separates those who hope for success from those who attract it like a force of nature. Discipline is the heartbeat of those who attract success. It's doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's saying no to what's easy so you can say yes to what's meaningful. It's choosing consistency over comfort. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem to have it all together. Chances are, they didn't get there by accident. They built habits that aligned with their goals. They developed a mindset that focused on solutions. They surrounded themselves with people who pushed them higher. They designed a life that didn't wait for motivation. It relied on discipline. If you want to attract success, you have to stop negotiating with your excuses. Stop telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. Stop allowing fear to dictate your decisions. Start showing up like the person you're trying to become. Because every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Are you voting for strength or weakness, for growth or stagnation, for purpose or distraction? Your future self is watching, waiting, and depending on you to stop playing small, to stop settling for average, to rise up and demand more, not from the world, but from yourself. You must also develop an unstoppable mindset the kind of mindset that sees failure as feedback, not defeat. The kind of mindset that keeps going when most people quit. Success doesn't avoid adversity, it grows through it. Every obstacle is an opportunity to strengthen your resilience. Every setback is a chance to refine your character. Those who attract success don't run from discomfort. They embrace it. They understand that challenges are not there to break them, but to build them. Your struggle is not a punishment. It's a preparation for your greatness. People often ask, how do I know if I'm on the right path? The truth is, the right path isn't always easy. In fact, it's often the harder one, but it's also the one that forces you to level up, to dig deeper, to grow stronger. It's the path where you say no to mediocrity and yes to mastery, where you say no to excuses and yes to execution, where you say no to fear and yes to faith. You know you're on the right path when you start becoming a better version of yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. To attract success, you have to believe you're worthy of it, not in an arrogant way, but in a grounded, powerful way that says, I have value. I bring something to the table. I'm here for a reason. Too many people shrink themselves, doubt themselves, hide their gifts because they are afraid of being seen. But the world needs what you have. The world is waiting for you to stop dimming your light and start owning your brilliance. Confidence is not about being loud. It's about being certain, certain that you belong, certain that you're enough, certain that you're capable of creating a life that reflects your highest potential. But belief without action is just a dream. If you want to become the person who attracts success, you have to show up every single day with purpose and passion. Wake up early, move your body, feed your mind, do the work, stay focused, say no to distractions. Protect your energy, align your habits with your vision. This is how you create momentum. This is how you earn the right to live the life you've imagined. You cannot attract greatness while living in chaos. You must create structure. You must create systems. You must create an environment that supports your growth and removes temptation. Your circle matters. The people you surround yourself with will either elevate you or drain you. If you want to attract success, you need to be around people who live with purpose, who challenge you to be better, who don't settle for average. Let go of those who don't align with your values, who don't respect your goals, who don't believe in your vision. You cannot rise while staying anchored to those who are content with sinking. Success loves company, but it loves the company of the committed, the courageous, the hungry. And most importantly, success is attracted to gratitude. When you appreciate what you have, you unlock the power to receive more. When you focus on what's right instead of what's missing, you become a magnet for blessings. Gratitude shifts your energy. It takes you from lack to abundance, from frustration to fulfillment, from fear to faith. Don't wait for everything to be perfect before you choose gratitude. Choose it now, in the mess, in the uncertainty, in the grind, because a grateful heart attracts miracles, and a grounded spirit draws in everything it needs. Becoming the person who attracts success is not about faking anything. It's about aligning everything, your thoughts, your actions, your values, your goals. It's about being real, being disciplined, being hungry, and being kind. It's about mastering your emotions, mastering your environment, and mastering your mindset. You don't have to chase approval. You don't have to beg for opportunities. When you become someone of value, value finds you. When you become someone of integrity, respect finds you. When you become someone of excellence, success finds you. And yes, there will be days when you feel like giving up. Days when the journey feels long and lonely. Days when the results don't match the effort. But don't you dare quit. Don't you dare shrink. This is the part that separates the committed from the casual. Push through, get back up, keep becoming. Every great success story has chapters of struggle, sacrifice, and solitude. But those chapters are what give the story its power. Your pain will not be wasted. Your perseverance will not be ignored. Keep showing up. Keep believing. Keep becoming. You were not born to be average.
You were not born to blend in. You were born to lead, to rise, to shine. You were born to impact, to inspire, to achieve. But that version of you doesn't come to life by chance. It comes to life by choice.
Choose to be better. Choose to grow. Choose to show up like someone who already has what they're working for. That's how you attract success, not with noise, but with consistency, not with talk, but with transformation, not with dreams, but with disciplined execution. Your journey starts with one decision: to stop waiting and start becoming, stop hoping and start doing, stop doubting and start believing. Every day is a new chance to become the kind of person success can't resist. Every morning is a fresh opportunity to align your actions with your ambitions, and every choice you make is either pulling you closer to your vision or pushing you further away. Choose wisely, choose powerfully, choose intentionally, and once everything starts chasing you, something remarkable happens. Your energy shifts, you walk differently, you speak differently, you think differently, you no longer seek validation because your value comes from within.
You no longer need to be accepted by the crowd because you've become the leader who sets the pace. You no longer compare yourself to others because your only competition is the person you were yesterday.
You realize that the real victory isn't found in the trophies, the applause, or the attention. It's found in the self, mastery, in knowing that you showed up every single day and gave it your all, even when no one was watching. Success is attracted to those who stay grounded in vision but relentless in execution. It doesn't respond to wishes or waiting. It responds to bold moves and consistent actions. You don't need a lucky break. You need an unbreakable mindset. You don't need shortcuts. You need standards, high standards, the kind of standards that demand more from you than you ever thought possible. Because when you raise your standards, your life rises with them. You stop tolerating distractions, mediocrity, and half-efforts. You stop being okay with good enough and start demanding excellence from yourself in every area of life. Success is attracted to those who have a clear why. Why do you want it? What are you willing to sacrifice for it? What pain are you willing to endure to see it through? When your why is strong enough, your excuses become weak. Your why becomes your anchor in the storms and your fire in the cold. It becomes the voice that tells you to keep going when everything inside you wants to quit. And once you tap into that deeper purpose, that fire, that reason, you become unstoppable. People will wonder how you do it, how you keep going, how you keep showing up with intensity, with drive, with hunger. They won't understand that you've built yourself into someone who doesn't need external motivation because you have internal mastery. The person who attracts success is not easily shaken, not by rejection, not by failure, not by delay. They understand that everything is part of the process. They embrace the grind, the waiting, the late nights, the lonely hours, because they know something others don't. Success is attracted to patience and persistence just as much as passion and power. You must be willing to endure seasons where nothing seems to be happening, because that's where everything is being prepared. You are being tested, shaped, refined, not punished. Every step forward counts, even the invisible ones. Attracting success isn't about being loud. It's about being solid. Solid in your values, your work ethic, your vision, your habits. People will be drawn to you because you radiate certainty and clarity. They will trust you, follow you, support you, not because you begged for it, but because you became undeniable. That's the goal, not to convince the world you're worthy of success, but to become so aligned, so excellent, so powerful that success has no choice but to find you. You'll have to let go of some things to become that person. Let go of old versions of yourself that played small. Let go of fear, based decisions. Let go of blaming, complaining, and waiting. Let go of habits that drain your energy and environments that feed your doubt. You can't become the person who attracts success while holding onto the identity that kept you stuck. Every transformation requires a letting go, and every letting go creates space for something greater. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to decide today to take one step forward, one action that reflects the person you're becoming, one small win that builds your momentum. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to be willing. Willing to start, willing to stay committed, willing to grow through the process, because the truth is, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to hand you success. It's on you. But that's not a burden. It's a blessing. Because once you realize that your future is entirely in your hands, you stop waiting and start creating. It's not about being lucky. It's about being prepared when the opportunity arrives. It's about showing up so consistently and so excellently that the doors don't just open for you. They swing wide in your presence. You'll walk into rooms you once dreamed of and realize you belong there because you built yourself for it. You'll achieve goals that once felt out of reach and realize they were simply waiting for you to rise to the level required to receive them. That's what becoming the person who attracts success is all about. It's becoming a vessel capable of receiving everything you desire without being destroyed by it. There is a silent power in quiet confidence. In the person who doesn't need to boast because their results speak louder. In the one who keeps building when no one claps, who keeps working when no one is watching, who keeps believing even when nothing seems to be happening. That's the person who attracts success, the one who stays consistent through it all, not because it's easy, but because they've made a commitment that comfort will no longer run their life. Every day you wake up, you have two choices: to shrink back into your old patterns or to step boldly into your evolution. Choose courage, choose discipline, choose responsibility, because every single day you are either attracting success or repelling it. There is no neutral. You are either rising or falling, winning or wasting, building or breaking. Choose to rise. One day, people will look at your life and call you lucky. They won't see the pain, the late nights, the early mornings, the missed parties, the silent battles, the personal growth. But you'll know it wasn't luck. It was strategy. It was sacrifice. It was self-mastery. It was becoming. You'll smile because you'll realize that the greatest reward wasn't the success itself. It was the person you had to become to attract it. Because becoming it, that's the ultimate transformation. It's when success is no longer something external that you strive to catch. It becomes your nature. It becomes how you walk into a room, how you carry yourself, how you think, how you handle adversity, how you treat people, how you wake up in the morning, how you go to bed at night. It becomes your energy, your presence, your standard. People can feel it. You don't have to announce it. They just know. They recognize the discipline in your eyes, the confidence in your stride, the clarity in your words, and the passion in your work. This kind of energy is rare. This level of intentionality is uncommon, but it is available to anyone willing to do the work, willing to stop living on autopilot and start living on purpose, willing to replace comfort with consistency, distractions with discipline, complaints with control. It's not a quick fix. It's not a 10-step hack. It's a way of life, a way of thinking, a way of being. You rise to it day by day, moment by moment, choice by choice, and along the way, something beautiful happens. You stop being shaken by the opinions of others. You stop chasing people who don't see your worth. You stop needing external praise to validate your internal value. You become rooted in your mission, anchored in your vision, and driven by your own standards. You attract aligned relationships, empowering opportunities, and elevated outcomes, not because you demanded it, but because you attracted it through your evolution. The shift happens when you no longer ask, "What can I get?" and you start asking, "Who can I become?" Because when you become more, you can do more. And when you do more, you can give more, serve more, and impact more. You move from survival to significance, from chasing to creating, from hustling to attracting, from scarcity to abundance, from doubt to unshakable belief, and all of it stems from one root transformation, the decision to become. Understand this, success is not the goal. Becoming the person worthy of that success is. The money, the freedom, the lifestyle, the recognition, those are byproducts. They are reflections of the inner wealth you've built. They come to those who are ready, who are worthy, who are disciplined, focused, relentless, and humble, who have shown through their habits, their mindset, and their work that they can handle the weight of greatness. That's what you're building now. Not just a successful life, but a successful identity, one that can stand in the fire and not melt, one that can carry pressure without collapsing, one that can remain calm when everything is chaotic, one that doesn't just get to the top, but stays there because the foundation is unshakable. You're not building sandcastles, you're building empires, and empires require time, they require vision, they require grit. So ask yourself, every day, every hour, every moment, am I becoming the person who attracts success? And not just wishing, not just talking, becoming in the silence, in the struggle, in the sacrifices, because the world doesn't need more people who want success. It needs more people who are ready for it, more people who are prepared to lead. To serve, to rise, you can become that person. You are already on your way. The fact that you've read this far tells me you're hungry, you're serious, you're ready to break cycles and create new standards. But don't stop here. Let this be the spark that lights the fire. Let this be the moment you look back on and say that's when everything changed, not because your circumstances shifted, but because you did. And once you become it, there's no turning back. You won't fit into places you once belonged. You won't connect with the same distractions. You won't tolerate the same delays, excuses, or fears that used to hold you down, not because you're arrogant, not because you think you're better, but because you've raised your vibration. You've recalibrated your frequency to one of excellence, of purpose, of impact. You've made peace with the truth that not everyone will understand your journey, and that's perfectly fine. The person who attracts success walks a path that is often lonely before it becomes legendary. Your solitude becomes sacred. Your focus becomes unshakable. Your progress becomes inevitable, because while others seek comfort, you seek growth. While others seek approval, you seek mastery. While others make noise, you move in silence and let your success speak volumes. That's how the greats are made. Not through validation, but through vision. Not through applause, but through alignment. You understand now that becoming the person who attracts success is not about how loud you are. It's about how aligned you are. You're aligned with your habits, your values, your goals, your words, and your energy. There's no gap between what you say and what you do. That alignment creates magnetism. People feel it. Opportunities sense it. The universe rewards it. And suddenly, life stops feeling like a battle. It starts feeling like a flow. You're no longer chasing things that don't belong to you. You're drawing in what was always meant for you. Because you've become someone who can hold it. You've done the inner work. You've refined your character. You've learned to delay gratification, to choose integrity over comfort, discipline over ease, clarity over confusion. You've trained your mind to focus, your heart to persevere, and your soul to lead. You've rewritten your identity. You no longer see yourself as the underdog, the struggler, the outsider. You see yourself as capable, worthy, and unstoppable, not because someone told you so, but because you proved it to yourself. Every morning you got up and pushed forward. Every time you were knocked down and got back up. Every time you refused to give up when quitting would have been easier. That's where true confidence comes from. Not empty affirmations, but earned evidence. You've lived the climb, you've felt the pain, you've walked through the fire, and you came out stronger. You realize now that the climb was the gift. It wasn't just about the summit. It was about who you became on the way up. You became the person who doesn't need permission to pursue greatness. You became the person who doesn't fold under pressure, who doesn't shrink in the face of fear, who doesn't retreat when things get hard.
You became the person who adapts, who overcomes, who evolves. You became the person success had been looking for all along. So from this point forward, never again doubt your path. Never again apologize for your ambition. Never again shrink your light to make others comfortable. Stand tall in your calling. Lean fully into your growth. Be unapologetic in your discipline, because the world is not changed by those who fit in. It is changed by those who rise above, who break molds, who choose excellence over acceptance. And yes, the journey is long. Yes, the process is uncomfortable. But look around. Most people will never even begin. Most people will stay trapped in patterns, comfort zones, and excuses. That's not you. You are different. You are here for something more. You have a mission, a drive, a hunger that won't let you settle. Use that, honor that, let it fuel your climb and inspire others to rise with you. In becoming the person who attracts success, you're not just transforming your life, you're becoming a lighthouse for others. You're showing what's possible. You're proving that hard work, vision, and inner mastery do pay off, and through your journey you'll lift others, even if silently, even if unknowingly. Your evolution is the permission someone else needed to begin theirs. And when you become it, truly, fully, without apology, your world begins to transform in ways you never imagined. The right people show up, not by accident, but because your energy invited them. The right opportunities land, not by luck, but because you prepared for them. The breakthroughs happen, not by force, but because you surrendered to the process and trusted the timing. The person who attracts success lives in a state of constant evolution. You understand now that arrival is an illusion. There is no final destination, only new levels. Each goal reached opens the door to a higher standard. Each victory becomes the foundation for the next vision. You aren't chasing a finish line. You're building a legacy, one choice, one step, one battle at a time. There will still be hard days. You'll still question yourself at times. The doubts will whisper. The fear will return, but you'll be ready, because you've built a core that doesn't crack under pressure. You've built discipline into your DNA. You've turned resilience into a reflex. So when the storms come, you won't fold, you'll rise. When the world shakes, you'll stand. When things fall apart, you'll rebuild, stronger than before. Why? Because that's what people who attract success do. They don't run from difficulty. They lean into it. They know that adversity is not the enemy, it is the mentor. It forges character, reveals weakness, strengthens willpower, and those who face it head on become unbreakable. They don't avoid the fire. They walk through it and emerge refined. You've made sacrifices along the way, time, comfort, relationships, distractions. But every sacrifice was an investment, and the return is massive. Clarity, growth, freedom, inner power. You've traded momentary pleasure for permanent pride. You've given up quick wins for lifelong mastery. You've exchanged being liked by many for being respected by few. And in doing so, you've built a life that feels aligned, elevated, and unstoppable. There's no need to prove yourself anymore. You've earned your own respect. That's more powerful than applause, more lasting than praise. You've redefined what success means to you. It's not just about money or recognition. It's about integrity. It's about waking up with purpose. It's about becoming someone your future self will thank you for. It's about peace, clarity, control. It's about living every day knowing you gave it everything you had, and then some. And now people start noticing. They don't know exactly what changed, but they feel it. Your confidence, your calm, your presence. It speaks louder than words. You don't demand attention, you command it. Not through force, but through frequency. Not through noise, but through depth. That's the essence of magnetism. You attract what you are. So what are you now? You are the embodiment of focus, the definition of drive.
The proof that growth is real, you don't just talk about elevation. You live it, you don't just plan. You execute, you don't just dream. You deliver, and that makes you rare. That makes you powerful. That makes you a force in a world full of distraction, doubt, and delay. And still, you stay grounded, because you know success isn't a destination. It's a responsibility. The more you achieve, the more you give. The higher you rise, the more you lead. You don't hoard success. You become a conduit for it. You share it, you teach it. You embody it so that others can find their path too. And that is the greatest gift of all, not just attracting success, but becoming someone who multiplies it for others. So keep going. There are still mountains to climb, levels to reach, lessons to learn, but now you face them differently, with wisdom, with calm, with inner strength that cannot be taken. You've earned your seat at the table. Now it's time to build more tables, create more value, expand your vision, live your truth, and as you live it, day in, day out, something profound begins to take root within you. You no longer merely believe in success. You embody it. It becomes your rhythm, your flow, your natural state. You stop searching for signs and start becoming the signal. You stop asking for doors to open and start building your own. You are no longer reacting to life. You are designing it, brick by brick, choice by choice, intention by intention. There's a clarity now, a depth behind your decisions. You don't move to impress, you move to express. To create, to build, to serve, to fulfill something much bigger than your own ego. Because when you become the person who attracts success, your vision expands. You start thinking generationally. You start aiming beyond what you thought was possible. You no longer chase validation. You chase value, real value, lasting value, the kind that doesn't fade with trends or applause, but gets stronger with time. You realize now that every small habit mattered. Every early morning, every lonely grind, every quiet night of doubt, every sacrifice you made when no one was watching. It all added up. It was never wasted. It was preparation, all of it, even the setbacks. Even the heartbreak, even the failures, especially the failures, they sharpened you, humbled you, molded you. They were part of the becoming. They didn't define you. They refined you. So now you stand not just as a person who succeeded, but as a person who grew into success, who earned it, who deserved it, who could hold it, maintain it, and multiply it. You became the kind of person who makes success sustainable, not seasonal, rooted, not rented, and that makes all the difference. Because anyone can win once, but few can repeat it. Fewer still can live it, and only the rarest can inspire it in others. That's you now. You've evolved from chasing wins to becoming a leader, from needing motivation to being a source of it, from doubting yourself to becoming an example of what's possible when someone commits, sacrifices, and never backs down. You are no longer concerned with speed. You're locked in on direction. You don't need to rush. You move with strategy, with confidence, with intention, because when you're aligned, you don't panic. When you're prepared, you don't flinch. When you're disciplined, you don't fold. That's the difference. That's what separates the ones who dream from the ones who do. Now, you no longer fear the unknown. You welcome it. You've trained yourself to operate in uncertainty. You've built mental muscles that bend but don't break. While others wait for conditions to be perfect, you move forward anyway, because you know now that success isn't born in comfort. It's born in chaos, indecision, in motion. You don't wait for opportunities. You create them. You don't wait for confidence. You earn it through action. You've become dangerous in the best way, not because you harm, but because you heal, you elevate, you disrupt mediocrity by simply being who you are now. You walk into a room and raise the standard, not by speaking, but by existing. You hold your ground. You command your space. You move like someone who knows who they are. That kind of power doesn't shout. It whispers, and the world listens. There's a sacred calm within you now. You're not in a race with anyone. You're in alignment with your own growth. That comparison game, you outgrew it. The need to prove something. You released it. You don't need the world's approval when you already have your own. That's freedom, that's power. That's what success feels like. Not just the material wins, but the mastery over self. The peace in knowing you're on your path, living by your own design. You've learned the true reward was never just the title, the money, or the recognition. It was the becoming. It was the ability to look in the mirror and say, I built this, I became this, I earned this. And no one can take that away from you. That's why it's lasting. That's why it's real. Because you paid for it with discipline, with growth, with sacrifices that no one saw. And that's why your success has weight. It's not hollow, it's not borrowed. It's built on something solid, and this is just the beginning. There are still higher levels to reach, not because you aren't enough now, but because you've realized your capacity is limitless. The more you grow, the more you see what's possible, and with every step you become more magnetic, more focused, more impactful. You lead, you inspire, you create, and not from a place of ego, but from a place of purpose. You now understand that your life is the message, your habits are your broadcast, your energy is your advertisement. The way you show up, the way you speak, the way you treat others, all of it communicates who you are and what you stand for. And what you stand for is greatness, excellence, responsibility, and love. Yes, love. Because the person who truly attracts success doesn't just do so through ambition, but through heart, through service. Through depth, that's your edge, that's your gift. That's why success flows to you now. Not because you manipulate or force it, but because you've aligned with something bigger than yourself. You've become someone who creates value effortlessly, who inspires without trying, who leads without needing to dominate. That's rare, that's powerful, that's what the world needs more of. And as you continue to live as success itself, you begin to see that life responds differently to you. Challenges don't vanish, but they shrink in comparison to your mindset. Problems don't overwhelm you, they sharpen you. Setbacks don't define you, they elevate you. You've become so internally fortified that no external force can undo what you've built within. And that is the true foundation of lasting success. You've embraced patience, you've mastered timing. You understand now that everything worth having takes time, takes pain, takes sweat and soul, but because you've accepted the price, the reward becomes even sweeter. You're no longer looking for shortcuts. You are the long game. You play to outlast, outgrow, and outserve. While others burn out chasing quick wins, you endure. You persist. You thrive in the shadows where most people quit. That's where your power compounds. Now people look at you and ask how you did it. They wonder what your secret is, but you know the truth. There was no secret. It was just daily discipline, repeated failure, unwavering belief, and a decision, again and again, to keep becoming the version of yourself that your future needed. You weren't born this way, you chose this. You became this, and that means anyone can, but few will, because becoming the person who attracts success is not glamorous. It's gritty, it's lonely, it's exhausting, but it is worth it beyond measure. You now embody a paradox. You are fierce yet gentle, unstoppable yet peaceful, humble yet relentless. You don't walk into rooms to compete. You walk in to elevate. You don't need to prove, your presence proves it. You don't need to talk, you are the message. That's the transformation. That's what becoming really means. Your environment bends to your energy now. People are drawn to your strength, not because you pretend to be perfect, but because you're real. You've faced darkness, you've fallen, you've risen, and in that rise you've found something unshakable. That's what makes you magnetic. You carry the lessons of your scars, the wisdom of your setbacks, and the light that only comes from walking through the shadows and refusing to be consumed. And now your mission expands. It's no longer just about your own growth. It's about impact. You realize that your success is a platform, a beacon, a responsibility. You weren't meant to rise just for yourself. You were meant to lead, to teach, to lift others out of the same trenches you once clawed your way through. That is legacy. That is leadership. That is real success. And so you stay the course. not because it's easy, but because it's right. You keep showing up not because you always feel like it, but because the mission is bigger than your mood. You hold your standards high, not out of pride, but out of purpose, because now you understand the person you've become is no longer optional. It's who you are. It's who you must be, for yourself, for others, for the world. You've become the person who attracts success not just once, not just occasionally, but every day, in every thought, every choice, every action. And because of that, you will never go back. You can't go back. You've seen too much, grown too much, become too much. The journey isn't over, it never will be. But you've already won. Because you did what most never dare to do. You became the person you were born to be. You walk now with a deeper sense of clarity, no longer needing the world to give you signs, because you have become the sign. You're no longer chasing purpose. You are purpose in motion. Every room you enter, every task you take on, every goal you pursue carries the weight of your growth, the depth of your character, and the wisdom you've earned through battle, tested discipline. You no longer fear outgrowing your past or the people who were never meant to come with you to the next level. You understand that some doors must close so that better ones can open. You respect the process. You respect yourself, and in that deep self-respect, you've created something most never find: alignment. You don't betray your values. You don't shrink your vision to fit small minds. You walk fully in your truth, even if that means walking alone at times. But you're never truly alone, are you? Because the person who becomes success attracts others who are on the same frequency. You start finding people who push you, challenge you, support you, not out of convenience, but because they, too, have walked the fire. You attract what you are, and because you've become relentless, focused, and full of integrity, you attract people who carry those same traits. That's the beautiful part. The journey to becoming the person who attracts success might have started in solitude, but it doesn't end there. It leads to a tribe, a community, a circle of giants who rise together, and together you don't just win. You build, you create, you lead movements, you spark revolutions, not by force, but by example. And with every success, you remain grounded. You stay hungry not for validation, but for growth. You stay humble not because you think less of yourself, but because you remember how far you've come. Gratitude becomes your foundation. You no longer take wins for granted. Every step forward is honored. Every opportunity is maximized. Every obstacle is respected. That's the maturity that only comes from becoming. And perhaps the most powerful realization you've had is this: you were always capable. From the very beginning, the seeds of greatness were inside you. The potential was there. The strength, the vision, the power, it was waiting for you to claim it. And once you did, everything changed, not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. Now your life is a reflection of that strength. You've built systems around your values. You've built habits around your vision. You've built discipline around your mission. You've become so aligned with your purpose that anything that doesn't match it falls away naturally. You're not stuck anymore. You're not scattered. You're laser, focused, calm under pressure, and on fire with ambition. You rise not because you have to, but because it's in your nature now. It's who you are. Every morning you wake up with intent, not obligation. Your energy is no longer scattered across things that don't matter. You've reclaimed your time, your peace, your mental bandwidth. Your focus is a weapon, your routine is armor, and your discipline is a compass. You don't need to wait for the right time because you are the right time. You move when it's hard. You move when it's silent. You move when it's unclear, and that's why life moves for you. You've stepped into a frequency where fear loses its grip. Doubt still knocks, but it no longer gets a seat at your table. You don't run from resistance. You embrace it, you use it, you mold it into strength. That's what separates you. That's what keeps you sharp when others become soft. You understand now that success isn't about comfort, it's about consistency. And no one is more consistent than the person who knows who they are. That's your edge, that's your power. You know exactly who you are, what you stand for, and what you're building. Your words have weight, your silence has meaning, your presence has depth. You don't need to scream for attention. The work speaks louder than any noise ever could. You're building something timeless, something rooted, something that lasts long after the applause fades. You're not trying to win for a season. You're becoming someone who never stops growing, because to you, success isn't a final form. It's a lifelong pursuit of mastery, not just over skills, but over self. And you welcome that responsibility because you know that true greatness demands stewardship, discipline, vision, ownership, and you have all of that now. You've earned it, you've bled for it, you've become it. And what's more powerful, you're not doing it for show. You're not doing it for likes or praise. You're doing it because it's who you've decided to be, and that kind of internal motivation, the kind that doesn't waver when no one is watching, is unstoppable. That's the kind of fuel that never runs out. That's the kind of drive that outlasts every obstacle, outworks every competitor, and outgrows every limit. Now the world begins to mirror what you carry. Doors open not because you knock louder, but because your energy is undeniable. People seek you out not for your status, but for your substance. You don't have to convince anyone. Your results are the proof. Your story is the proof. Your mindset is the proof. You've become the kind of person who turns struggle into structure, pain into power, delay into direction, and still you give, still you lead, still you lift others. Because that's who you are now. You're not just the one who made it. You're the one who makes others believe they can make it too. And that is the highest form of power, to empower. You've stopped trying to be impressive and started focusing on being impactful. That shift has changed everything. You don't need attention, you create results. You don't need validation, you create value. You don't need perfection, you create momentum. And in that momentum, you've found peace. You've found rhythm, you've found yourself, and no matter what comes next, the wins, the losses, the changes, the critics, you remain unshaken because you're no longer performing, you're living, you're no longer chasing success. You've become the person who attracts it, naturally, powerfully, unapologetically. As you move forward with every step you take, the world shifts with you. You're no longer a passive participant in your journey. You're the architect. You have the blueprint, and you're building your dream, brick by brick, day by day. Every decision, no matter how small, is part of a larger design. Every moment, whether filled with joy or challenge, becomes a part of your evolution. What's more, you're no longer driven by the need to escape discomfort. Instead, you lean into it. You seek it out, not for the sake of struggle, but because you understand that in every challenge is an opportunity for growth. In every difficulty is a lesson. In every setback is the seed for your next leap forward. You've made peace with discomfort because you know it's the furnace in which your future self is forged. As you continue on this path, you begin to see the intricate beauty of it all. The pain, the setbacks, the hard lessons, they weren't obstacles. They were the soil in which your strength, resilience, and determination grew. And now you stand tall, rooted in the very experiences that once threatened to break you. They didn't break you, they built you. You're no longer searching for shortcuts or easy routes. You've learned that success comes from showing up consistently, day in and day out. You don't need to take every opportunity that comes your way, because now you know that the right opportunities align with your purpose. You are selective, deliberate, and intentional about where you place your energy, your time, and your focus. Every move you make is in alignment with who you've become, and that makes all the difference. The people around you notice it. They see your quiet confidence, your unwavering determination. They see how you handle adversity with grace, how you celebrate victories with humility. Your presence becomes magnetic, not because you seek attention, but because you exude something real, something rare. And in that energy, others begin to find their own path to greatness. You're no longer just a person who attracts success. You're a person who inspires success in others. And still, you rise. You rise not because of external validation, but because you are driven by an internal force that cannot be extinguished. You are now a person of purpose, a person of action, a person who has created a life of meaning and impact. You no longer wait for success to find you. You create it, you attract it, and you sustain it. And in that process, you discover something far greater than success itself: peace, peace in knowing you've done the work. Peace in knowing you've shown up, even when it was hard. Peace in knowing that every moment you spent becoming who you are meant to be was worth it. The struggle, the sacrifice, the discipline, it all led you here. And from this place, the journey is only just beginning, because when you become the person who attracts success, you realize that success isn't a destination, it's a way of life. It's a constant evolution, a continual process of growth, learning, and transformation. You will never stop becoming because your potential is limitless. You are only scratching the surface of what you're capable of, and every step you take in the direction of your dreams creates ripples of possibility, not only in your life, but in the lives of everyone you touch. So keep going, never stop, because the person who attracts success is not someone who arrives. They are someone who constantly evolves, constantly expands, constantly rises higher, and that is the essence of greatness. That is the essence of you. You now realize that becoming the person who attracts success is not a singular event, but a lifetime commitment to growth and self-mastery. The journey you've undertaken has shaped you into someone who no longer waits for life to happen to them, but instead takes the reins and forges their own path. With each day that passes, you continue to refine, improve, and elevate yourself, knowing that the pursuit of excellence is a lifelong endeavor, and it is in this process that you come to understand something vital. Success, in its truest form, is not a destination. It is the person you become along the way. The goals you reach are not just a measure of external achievement, but of the inner strength, wisdom, and resilience you cultivate through each step of the journey. You no longer measure your success by what you have, but by who you are, by the growth, the transformation, and the impact you create, not just for yourself, but for those around you. You've learned to move with purpose, not by force, but through alignment. You've learned that when you are in tune with your values, your mission, and your passions, success flows naturally. It no longer feels like something you have to chase. Instead, it becomes an outcome of living authentically and relentlessly pursuing the highest version of yourself. This is what makes you unstoppable. It's not your external achievements, though impressive they may be. It's the internal foundation you've built, the mindset you carry, and the unwavering commitment to your own growth. It's your ability to navigate challenges with grace and learn from every experience. It's your refusal to settle for mediocrity, your constant push to raise the bar, and your unshakable belief that no matter the obstacle, you are capable of not only overcoming it, but growing from it. And in this transformation, you start to see the world differently. You see the opportunities in the obstacles. You see the lessons in the failures. You see the potential for growth in every setback, because you know that your path is shaped not by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond to it. Every choice you make, no matter how small, is a reflection of who you are becoming. And this is what attracts success. Not just your actions, but the energy you bring to everything you do. You no longer allow fear to dictate your choices. You've learned that fear is simply a signal that you're on the verge of growth, that you're about to step into something bigger, something greater than what you've known. And with this knowledge, you face fear head on, not as an enemy, but as a companion in your journey. You understand that to step into the person you are meant to be, you must first face the fears and doubts that would otherwise hold you back. You've shed the need for validation from the outside world. You no longer seek approval or confirmation from others, because you've built a deep sense of self, worth from within. You know that your value is not determined by external opinions or accomplishments, but by the person you've become, the person who takes responsibility for their life, who chooses to grow, who chooses to show up even when it's hard. And because you no longer depend on the validation of others, you find freedom. Freedom to be authentic, to be bold, to be true to your vision. And as you continue to evolve, you understand that this is not just about you. It's about the impact you have on those around you. You are no longer chasing success for personal gain alone, but for the purpose of uplifting others, of showing them what is possible when they believe in themselves and commit to their own growth. Your success becomes a beacon for others to follow, not because you ask them to, but because your example inspires them to take action, to step into their own greatness. So you keep going, you keep evolving, you keep becoming the person who attracts success, not just for you, but for those whose lives you touch. Because as you rise, so too does the world around you. Your growth, your transformation, your unwavering commitment to becoming the best version of yourself creates a ripple effect that touches everyone you encounter, inspiring them to rise with you. In the end, the person who attracts success is not someone who seeks fame, fortune, or recognition. They are someone who has found purpose, who has cultivated inner strength, who has embraced their true potential and chosen to walk the path of growth, no matter how challenging it may be. They are someone who has learned to lead, not by forcing their way, but by becoming the example of what's possible. And so you continue. With each new challenge, each new victory, each new day, you grow stronger. You rise higher, you attract success, not because you need it, but because you've become it. You've become the person who embodies the very essence of success, and in doing so, you unlock the potential within others to do the same. As you continue along this path, you become aware that the true power of success lies in the way it transforms you from the inside out. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of doubt becomes a stepping stone towards your ultimate growth. The journey never ends, but that's the beauty of it. You are constantly evolving, and with every stage of your transformation, you become more connected to the person you are meant to be. What's incredible is that over time, the very essence of who you are, your character, your mindset, your energy, becomes a magnet for success. You no longer have to chase after opportunities because they begin to come to you. You no longer have to seek validation because your confidence and self-belief radiate outward. You no longer need to force things to happen because your consistency, discipline, and authentic pursuit of growth have already set the wheels of success in motion. Success is not a destination you reach, but a process that you embody. It is a way of being, not a list of accomplishments. As you move through life, success is the result of the energy you put into the world. It is the reflection of your inner strength, your clarity of purpose, and your unwavering commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. And because you understand that now, you approach every new phase of your journey with a sense of calm assurance. You know that no matter what comes your way, you have the tools, the mindset, and the heart to navigate it. The person who attracts success has a deep understanding of their own worth. They don't measure themselves by the standards of others or the expectations of the world. They measure themselves by their progress, by the consistency of their efforts, by their ability to overcome challenges and remain steadfast in their pursuit of their vision. They know that they are worthy of success, not because of any external markers, but because of the strength of their character and the clarity of their purpose. And this is where the true magic happens. You begin to realize that success isn't just about the things you achieve or the titles you accumulate. It's about the way you change, the way you grow, and the way you elevate the world around you. When you become the person who attracts success, you become a living example of what is possible. Your life becomes an invitation for others to rise to their own potential, to embrace their own power, and to pursue their own dreams. This is the ripple effect of success, the way it multiplies and extends beyond you. When you embody success in its truest form, you don't just change your own life, you change the lives of those around you. You inspire them to take action, to push past their fears, to believe in themselves and their own capabilities. You become a light in the world, a beacon that shows others what is possible when they commit to their own growth. And even as you continue to rise, you remember that success isn't just about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about the process of becoming, of striving, of learning, and of growing. The person who attracts success knows that the challenges, the setbacks, and the hardships are not signs of failure. They are integral parts of the journey. They are the tools that shape you, the experiences that strengthen you, and the lessons that help you become the person you are destined to be. As you move forward, you know that the work is never done. Success is not something you achieve once and then leave behind. It is a lifelong process of becoming, of evolving, and of continually growing into the highest version of yourself. And that's why you never stop. You never stop learning, never stop striving, never stop pushing yourself to be better. Because success, true success, is not about the end goal. It is about the person you become along the way. In the end, you understand that you are already the success you seek. Everything you need to attract success has already been cultivated within you. You don't need to search for it externally. You don't need to look for it in accomplishments or accolades. You simply need to continue walking the path of growth, to stay true to your purpose, and to embrace every challenge as an opportunity to evolve. Success, in all its forms, will naturally follow you because you are the person who embodies it. You've become the person who attracts success, and in doing so, you've unlocked a power that will carry you through every challenge, every victory, and every new chapter of your life. As you stand at this point in your journey, you begin to see the beauty of the transformation that has taken place within you. You've shifted from someone who once sought success as an external force, something to be earned or achieved, to someone who realizes that success is not something you chase, but something that emanates from the core of who you are. The truth that success is not a destination, but a way of life, becomes evident in every step you take. You have done the hard work of becoming someone who aligns their actions, thoughts, and energy with the highest version of themselves. Every sacrifice, every late night, every moment of doubt was an integral part of your growth. It wasn't easy. It wasn't always comfortable, but it was necessary. And now, standing in this moment, you see that the person you are today, the person who attracts success, is a result of every challenge you've faced and every lesson you've learned. You have built a foundation so strong that no storm can tear it down. Your resilience, your discipline, and your ability to adapt have shaped you into someone who not only achieves success, but sustains it. You understand that success is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong process. It's the continual growth, the constant evolution, the ongoing commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. Now, you realize that your journey is not only about you. It's about the impact you have on those around you. The energy you put into the world ripples outward, touching the lives of others in ways you may not even fully understand. When you become the person who attracts success, you become a beacon for others to follow. Your story is not just your own. It is a story that others can learn from, be inspired by, and see as a testament to what is possible when someone is fully committed to their own growth. And as you continue on this journey, you begin to understand that the most powerful thing you can do with your success is share it, not just in terms of wealth or resources, but in the way you share your knowledge, your wisdom, your energy. You understand that true success is not about what you accumulate, but about what you give. When you give of yourself, when you share your experience, your expertise, and your heart with others, you create a cycle of abundance that multiplies. The person who attracts success is someone who understands the power of giving, They give not out of obligation, but out of a deep sense of gratitude and purpose. They give because they know that in lifting others, they also lift themselves. They give because they recognize that the more they contribute to the world will give back to them, and still you continue to grow, you continue to evolve, you continue to rise higher. Because you know that the moment you stop striving for more, stop challenging yourself, stop pushing your limits, you begin to stagnate. Success is not about reaching the top of the mountain, it's about continuing the climb. And as you continue to climb, you inspire others to do the same. You lead not by force, but by example, showing others what is possible when they believe in themselves and commit to their growth. Your life becomes a testament to the power of personal development. You are living proof that success is not a matter of luck or chance, but of persistence, vision, and unwavering belief in yourself. You've shown that no matter where you start, no matter the obstacles you face, you can always rise. And you've proven that the key to success is not found in external circumstances, but in the person you choose to become. And so, you keep moving forward. You embrace each new challenge as an opportunity for growth. You rise above the noise, the distractions, the limitations, and continue to focus on your purpose, your vision, and your goals. You know that the road ahead is not always easy, but it's always worth it, because every step you take brings you closer to the person you are meant to be, the person who attracts success, the person who embodies greatness, and the person who inspires others to do the same. With every day that passes, you reaffirm your commitment to growth. You reaffirm your dedication to becoming more than you were yesterday, and you do so with a sense of peace, knowing that your journey is not just about reaching the destination, but about enjoying the process of becoming the person who attracts success in every way possible. So continue, keep going, keep evolving, because as long as you do, success will continue to follow you, not because you seek it, but because you are the person who naturally attracts it by embodying the values, the mindset, and the actions that define true success. Your journey is far from over. It is just beginning, and with each passing day, you continue to become the person you were always meant to be,